Hello. Before this video gets started, unfortunately, I have to tell you that we did not have the perfect recording we always strive for. We had some bad technical difficulties happening with Chris Parker's audio. It's entirely my fault, so I'm the one to blame. But basically, we had some stuff get a little wonky, and so the first hour or so of the video, the first 3 songs of this album, are screwed up. You'll be able to hopefully hear and understand everything all right. It might be a little difficult when Chris Parker is speaking. Essentially, I had the wrong, the sources were screwed up. Once I moved back from the hospital, I didn't reselect and configure all of the sources, and so the audio channels were picking up the same signals. My track was all right and Cody's track was all right, but basically the desktop audio track, which usually has everything in it, and then a separate audio track that has just the Spotify track in it, nothing had the right stuff in it except for my track and Cody's track. And so I ended up having to use one single track for Cody and Chris and the sound that you're going to hear over the first 3 tracks, the music in the first 3 tracks of this video. So, but the even bigger problem that I could deal with, and I can make that sound okay, but the bigger problem was that Chris Parker's track was doubled up on that particular track, the only track that contained his audio, and the only track that also contained the audio for the first 3 songs on the album. At that point, I realized what was going on, and I fixed everything. So after that point, everything is fine. But I wanted to let you guys know it's really wonky. It's tough kind of to understand what's happening. But if you're frustrated listening to it, I understand. It is frustrating. This is a big video for our channel, probably the first of several Black Sabbath reactions we're going to do, as long as I can post this with the music in the video. But I want to just tell you, this is a bit of a spoiler for the video, but we all really enjoyed the album, and we love the production, and we talk very highly about the album throughout the whole thing. So if you're very frustrated and you can't understand what Chris Parker's saying throughout the first hour or so of the video, I will clearly have it labeled and marked where everything is fixed. It'll be after the 3rd song on the album. Everything after that is like one of our normal videos. But Cody had to leave a little early because he had some sort of an emergency, but that's towards the very end when we're talking about the album overall. The music sounds fine throughout the whole video, so the music wasn't screwed up or anything like that at all. If I have to remove the music from the video, then I will have to remove Chris Parker's audio from the first 3 songs as well. So if that's something that ends up happening, this whole video is going to be really screwed up, even more so than it is now. But I implore you to try and listen to the video and try to make sense of what everyone's saying. When Chris Parker's not talking, it's much easier to understand what's happening. But, you know, we want to hear his input as well, so I understand if it's frustrating for everybody. But I did as best I could. Normally we have backups for all of our tracks, but in this case we did not do that. And of course it's the time that came to bite us in our butts. But it's a fantastic reaction, and I'm very excited for you all to hear it, and I was very excited for us all to hear the album. So let's go back into the Black Sabbath Paranoid first time listen reaction. Today, for the very first time, if you can believe it or not, we are going to be listening to well, no, it's not brand new. I guess it's from the 70s. Anyway, we're going to be listening to Paranoid by Black Sabbath. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on the channel. If this is your first time here, know that what we're going to do is we're going to listen to this entire album for the first time. I think each of us have heard several songs. Cody, have you heard this whole album?
The whole album, although I couldn't tell you what some of these songs sound like because I've only heard it like once or twice.
Okay.
I bought it recently.
Okay.
I had one of those vinyl sales, and I listened to it like a month ago.
Okay. All right.
So,
and Chris, what's your experience with this?
I know War Pigs and Iron Man, and that's probably it. Unless, I mean, well, Paranoid has 1.5 billion listens. So
yeah, you might know
imagine
Paranoid, but
if I fires up, it's like, oh yeah, this one. But otherwise, not much exposure.
Yeah, and I don't think I've heard this album in full. It was one of the very first records I ever got, and I'll talk about that again in a second. But for me, I think this is going to be the first first listen for me. I do know Iron Man. I've heard the Faith No More version of War Pigs, but I don't think I've ever heard the Black Sabbath version. And I've had to have heard Paranoid. It's got like we just discovered 1.5 billion plays. So I can't imagine I don't know that song. But if you ask me what it was off the top of my head, I'd be like, I don't know. We were talking on our Discord, which everyone should go check out. For that will be in the description. We were talking on our Discord. I thought Crazy Train was on this album, and everyone was like, no, you stupid. That's an Ozzy Osbourne solo song. And I'm like, wow, I had no clue. I just assumed that this was their biggest album. Crazy Train was on it. It's their biggest song. Not even their song. So that goes to show you how familiar I am with this band. But yeah, so we're going to listen all the way through the album. We'll probably pause between songs, talk about what we're hearing. We don't generally break down lyrics too much here on the channel, so don't expect too much about that. But if we hear something interesting, we may.
Someone mentioned one of the songs in Discord is like, hey, you got to watch the lyrics on this song.
Okay, good. If you see
So
if you
I'll
can
find
find
that.
see if you can find that comment, and we'll do that.
Okay.
Well, it's weird. There's nothing on the this whatever everything I'm seeing in front of me. Spotify doesn't have anything listed as like explicit, which I think normally would, right?
Oh, do they? I don't know if they swear in this at all. Do they?
Probably not. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't. There's no swearing as far as.
to the lyrics. Then.
What song are you thinking of?
Jack the Stripper, maybe. That sounds like there could be some. Or fairies wear boots. Maybe that could be some stuff that maybe needs to be cut out. I don't know. Anyway, my point is we're not familiar with this. And so this is our time to sit here and listen to it and learn about it. We're not here to teach you, watcher, about Black Sabbath. You probably know way more about them than we do. So it's our job to sit here and learn slowly as we hear the music. We'll probably talk about production stuff. Like I said, we're not big into lyrics, but if something bothers us, we'll talk about it. If we really like something, we'll bring it up and talk about it. So that's how we generally do everything here. If you are familiar with the channel, then yes, this is a big thing we have been debating about doing for quite a while. I wouldn't be lying to you if I said that Ozzy's recent death didn't sort of spur this on, but we have been talking about doing Black Sabbath for a long time.
It bumped it up the list.
It did. It bumped it up. And Cody and I have been doing more classic rock stuff recently. Just earlier today, recorded a reaction to us both for the first time listening to the album Close to the Edge by Yes. We've also been going back through and, believe it or not, listening to the Beatles albums for the first time. We've done 2 of those, and we're going to be recording the White Album hopefully soon with Chris. Hopefully the scheduling can work out. But we've been having a lot of fun going back and doing more classic rock. Normally on this channel, we do more modern metal and heavy music and just modern music in general, but it's been fun to go back and do some classic stuff, like I assume this Black Sabbath album is going to be. It is classic, obviously. Before we get into everything, I want to do just a very quick show and tell of some of the stuff that I have that I've acquired of Black Sabbath. And you're going to be like, oh, you have all this stuff. Why don't you listen to it? I'll be like, well, I have a collection of 4,000 CDs and probably 1,000 or more records. And I haven't heard a vast majority of the records for sure because it's a lot of work to listen to a record. You know, you got to flip it over halfway when it's done. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
I was listening to it. I was hanging out with somebody over the weekend, and he was playing records while we were hanging out.
Yep.
I'd tell he had to go over there like every 5 minutes.
I know, it's silly. Yeah, he's playing 45s. It's like, get out of here with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I do want to point out a couple of things that I did get. I got to get my beverage out of the way. But I do have, this is one of my favorite things I found at a garage sale over the last few years. I have 3 Black Sabbath 8-track tapes.
Wow, that's cool.
So this is Black Sabbath Master of Reality, which is one of the... Our Discord said we should do several Black Sabbath albums, and unless this video goes terrible and we get copyright and we can't use the audio from the album itself, which I try to put in every video. I upload every video with the audio in it, but if it gets blocked, I have to take the audio from the music out. So, but this is Master of Reality. That's one of the other albums we're supposed to do. Apparently it's very good and some heavy stuff on there. I also have, this is Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath on 8-track. And I believe these are all club versions. And then I also have Black Sabbath, their debut album on 8-track.
Cool.
And so those are very cool. I don't know how much they're worth exactly, but they're worth, I think, a little bit. They're not in great condition, so I don't think they're worth, tons or anything.
I don't know. No 8-track is in good condition.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
I think they were made in terrible condition. Brand new out of the box, they were garbage.
And then I have to show this off because this is something that I don't get the chance to show off very often. We don't do these bands very often. But I do have, and I've showed these off before. I have a whole video on the channel where I go through this entire box that I have off screen here. look, it's an orange box. But I have a whole set of these, and I'll just show off a couple of them as I'm sitting here. These are comic books. So like here's a Genesis comic book. Here's a Anthrax comic book from the 90s. Here's
How many views does that video have?
This is like 10 to 10.
Yeah, I was gonna say nobody watching that.
Well, people don't care about it, but like there's Aerosmith, you know. So I have probably 30 or so. Here's Pink Floyd. So I have a whole bunch of these. They're one of my pride and joy things that I have. I bought them for $2 at an auction. But I have to just show this one off, and I've never opened it because it's in packaging. I don't think it's the original packaging, but this is my Black Sabbath comic book.
All this stuff for things for bands you don't know anything or care anything about.
Well, I bought them all together at the same time. There's like 4 Metallica ones in there. There's bands I do care about in there, but I did buy them before I cared about Metallica. But come on, for $2 at an auction,
cool.
would you
Rock
not
and
buy
roll comic
30
books? That's
comics
cool.
of a, you know? And so this is my cool Black Sabbath one. Maybe before we do the next Black Sabbath video, I will open this and read it, and then I'll report back to you guys. It says plotted and
You can get the real history of them.
Yeah,
Probably.
Well, that's what a lot of them are. It's the history of the band, but then some of them are also just a band like fighting aliens in outer space and stuff.
Well, is this with Ozzy on there or with DL?
This is with Ozzy, but it says plotted and co-written by bassist Terry Geezer Butler. So he helped write this.
Okay, so it's official.
Yeah, it is well, yeah. I mean,
It's official canon.
Yeah,
these are pretty big back in the day. So I just wanted to show that off, and then I have one more thing to show off. I was looking for this all day yesterday, and I managed to find it. This is one of the earliest records that I have. This is my copy of Paranoid.
Hell yeah.
It's all ripped up and terrible. And I've never listened to it. I think I may have put it on once way back when I first got a vinyl player. I mean, we're talking 15 years ago or more, maybe 20 years ago. But I got this because my grandma and grandpa own a house in the town that we live near, and the person who lived there died. And so we went there to clean it out. It wasn't a relative. They were just renting it to someone. We went there to clean it out, and we were looking in the garage. They had a separate, an unattached garage. And we were looking in there, and I saw something up in the rafters, and it was a stack of like 10 records. And this was one of the records that was in there up on the top of the rafter. I have no idea why it was there I have no reason. I have no idea why it was there. And so this is one of the oldest records I have. It's really cool that I have it. I need to put it in a sleeve, but I've been using it
awesome.
to house these 2 flimsy other records that I have that I love. One of them is a sonic analysis of a train. So you can listen to it and try to diagnose the problem with a train as it's going past you if you're an engineer. It's actually really cool.
That's really crazy.
It is. And the intro is like awesome. It's like, welcome to the sonic analysis of the whatever, blah, blah, blah. In this, you'll be hearing and I'm like, oh man, this needs to be cut up and put into a hip hop song from the 90s or something. But anyway, I've got that. And then while I was looking for that, I had
I'm also fascinated by the fact that those are flimsy. Like, I've never seen that.
They came in magazines. They would be
Yeah, it might have
attached
been
to a
like
magazine.
Like a mechanical engineering mag or something.
Yeah, like it's very thin, and it's just
and it's
printed. Yeah, and it plays just fine. It sounds really quiet. It's very cool.
Crazy.
It might
Mad
sound a little
Magazine
thin.
did a lot of those with like novelty songs.
And this one,
That's really
Yeah,
wild.
this would just be attached to the inside of like the last page or something. And this one it says a message on praise by Pastor Chuck Smith.
Honestly, those are so much cooler than the thick vinyls. Like,
I agree.
The fact that they're floppy is very, very
Yeah, it's very cool because not a lot of them didn't survive. You know, they were so easily destructible. And then I just have to point this out. I had no idea I had this. I have no idea where this came from. I've never seen it before. But this is, without any packaging, this is a copy of this is Master of Reality by Black Sabbath on vinyl.
Sweet.
No idea where I got it. I wish I had the cover. That'd be sweet. But
Dang.
But
you got
just
more, you got way more Black Sabbath stuff on vinyl than I do.
yeah, well,
I have this new pressing, and then I've got like a compilation, which is pretty cool. But
yeah, I was trying to
the
look.
70s.
I was trying to look on Discogs this version of Paranoid yesterday, and it's kind of like smooth and shiny. So I'm not sure which version it was, but I didn't have it with me at the time, and I couldn't see the.
For big albums on Discogs, like it can drive you mad trying to find the exact pressing.
Well, you have to look at the label.
Yeah, or you have to look at like the
seems very
etching
true.
in the run out grooves. or
Yeah, when I was
whatever.
looking, I didn't see any of them that had this kind of a label.
Yeah.
They all had like yellow labels, the red labels. So it'll be easier to find it. It's probably,
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's not from 1970 when the album came
Yeah,
out
it
originally.
must
I'm
be
guessing it's
later.
probably a 1973, 74, 75 maybe reprint. So just very cool. I'm glad I found this. I haven't seen this for probably 10 years. So I was very happy that I found it. And it was in my, it was in my batches of records that I got when I was really young with some Styx records and Motley Crue and all my Journey records. So, all right. Sorry. And thanks for, bearing with us through all of that, everybody. Yeah, we don't have too much else to say, right? We don't know that much about Cody. Do you want to say
No.
anything about, you read the,
mean,
I
yeah,
charged you with reading the Wikipedia page for this
know.
because I didn't
There-
want to know too much about it.
Surprisingly, there was like compared to that Yes album we just did, there was not a lot of information about just the history and recording and stuff. Aside from like it's a legendary album. I'd be curious. It's been a while since I've listened to Black Sabbath's first album because there was a lot of references to this as being like this is
Poppier.
what really kickstarted metal music or whatever. But I was like, that's their second album, so I don't know if it was pretty different than their first album, or if maybe this was just so much more popular that maybe that's kind of how it got that reputation.
Maybe. I mean, I was looking.
It sounded like they recorded it very fast, though. They just like
Okay.
they wrote them fast, they recorded them fast, and it would just float out of them.
I was looking on Spotify.
The thing that I had always heard was that Black Sabbath invented metal and affected it. And so it's like anything that happens early. I feel like this might be. This isn't their first album.
No, it's
This is
their
their second album.
I think they both came out in '70 though.
They did. Yeah.
And I think this one was a lot more popular, so I can see maybe why this one gets the reputation. But I guess if we
Well,
do more Black Sabbath, I'd be
and they're
curious to go back to the first one because the early history of metal music is really interesting to me. Because if you go back to like '68, you wouldn't find anything like this.
Yeah.
Right. Very be few and far between for sure.
Yeah.
The their first album has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs. I can't tell.
I feel like Judas Priest might be the only thing that you could find that's about this old that would be in the metal category.
Well,
Did they
Deep
start in the
Purple.
60s?
Deep Purple.
That's not metal.
Yes.
Well, is this going to be metal?
That's the thing is
I
once you go
believe
back
it
far
has
enough,
to be.
I
you
do
can
not
always
think
find-
so.
There's always transition.
Well, and here we have to okay, let's do it. Let's get into the terminology.
Oh, boy.
What's the difference between metal and heavy metal?
Oh no.
Yes,
Nothing.
I know. I think there is a difference.
So Judas
because
I
Priest
had
did
always
start
just-
in '69, but they didn't put out an album until '74.
and when did Deep
Oh,
Purple's
okay.
first album come out?
I mean, they were putting out stuff in the '60s. They go back. You can probably go back far enough that they're not very heavy at all.
But I know that they're considered one of the bands that was like
Machine Head came out in
Like a
around
metal band?
70.
yeah, black.
know
Well, heavy, But do you think of? It depends what metal is to you, because are
Yeah,
we going to
I mean,
hear? What are we
Since
going to?
they're
What are we
one
going to
of the
hear?
Pioneers of heavy metal.
Yeah, Black Sabbath.
I just didn't know
heavy
that
metal.
about Deep Purple.
Oh yeah, heavy metal. When I think of heavy metal, I think of like Deep Purple, Black Sabbath. I don't even know what else.
I always thought metal and heavy metal
Judas
were
Priest?
interchangeable terms. I didn't realize that there was a
Well, see, I think maybe
difference there.
at first it was, but to me now, heavy metal is like when you say classic rock. The difference between classic rock and rock, because the Black Keys are rock music, or they can be, but classic rock is something completely different. So like to me, heavy metal is like the early metal. But like metal could be anything from Dream Theater to Metallica to apparently Black Sabbath to,
Okay.
Lorna
So
Shore.
metal is a more of a macro category genre.
Metal's the umbrella that all subgenres fall through, and I think heavy metal is like classic metal, is what I would say. Just my
All right, I'll allow it.
interpretation.
I don't know if that's what other people consider it, but I like
Oh
that
no,
because that's
no.
what they called it.
People
back
would
then.
argue with that, and they'd be like, "It has to do with tempo, and it has to do with the fact that guitar tuners weren't invented yet." Blah, blah. Okay, sorry.
There is something different
can't do
about
the
this early
sunglasses anymore.
'70s metal.
Yes. Yeah, I think it all is going to have this like nice warm sound, like a tube amp sound, I think, which I'm excited to hear how it sounds with the remaster or whatever. And I've heard
I'm
Iron
excited
Man.
for you to hate this as much as you hate Led Zeppelin.
Oh, Led Zeppelin, the other band that people. Yes. Oh man. Oh, don't. You threw me under the bus, because when we say Led Zeppelin, I have to say Led Zeppelin, terrible band, awful, absolutely terrible. Led Zeppelin 4, one of the worst sounding albums I've ever
To
heard.
be fair, he's only listened to one of their albums.
Yeah, just Led
their
Zeppelin
greatest
4.
album of all time.
Yeah, and it's terrible. So, but anyway, you can go back and I'm going to re-upload that video soon, hopefully with the music in it. Just minus that stupid Dwayne Eddy song I put in there that caused it to be blocked worldwide. Didn't notice, I guess, at the time.
That's what caused it? That sucks.
Yeah, I know. It's very stupid. Very stupid thing to do. But yeah, so also I just want to point out too, like we are also listening to music that kind of came out at this time. We listened to a Beatles record that came out before this, and we listened to a Beatles record that came out before this, right? Both Beatles albums.
We listened to a couple. Yeah, and we're going to listen to the White Album, which has what people say is like the first heavy metal song on it soon.
And what year is that from? The White Album?
68. Hey, that's just what people say. I don't know.
I can't wait to hear what kind of bullshit that is.
I know. So 68 though. So then we also have heard Yes from 1971 and 72. I keep bringing up all the time Nitty Gritty Dirt Band from like 1973, I think, or something was.
I never would have imagined that.
Uncle Charlie. Yeah. Well, when Cody and I listen to these classic albums, you can only reference what you know, and Uncle Charlie and His Dog is one of my favorite albums from the 70s, so it's like, it's great.
We listened to the Pet Sounds.
We listened to Pet Sounds, which sounded terrible.
That was 68, 67.
Did it sound terrible?
It did. I was very disappointed that it wasn't more high fidelity at all. It was more about the fact that they had like a ton of instruments on a track, which I don't think had been done as much.
It's more about the production process than
the actual fidelity of it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and there was obviously good songs on that, but also every single song on the album faded out. No joke. So
That's not surprising.
I wonder if these songs will fade out. That's actually a good question to bring up, because offhand I can't think if Iron Man does fade out or not. Probably does. But I don't know.
I don't know.
See, when I think of Iron Man, I think of Iron Man being very slow and sludgy and more like doom metal or stoner rock or something like that, or stoner metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know if this whole album is going to be like that. I don't know what War Pigs sounds like at all. Paranoid, I think. Cody, is Paranoid the song that's like, finish with my woman, cause she got my mind.
We'll never know if you keep doing that, though.
Right? Just like Ozzy.
yeah.
It's like he was reincarnated in me.
Yeah, that is
okay.
But that's that song?
Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah,
man. That is song. Dave Mira's freestyle BMX all day for me. I'm going to know every note of that song because I heard it a million times. Did not know that was Black Sabbath until I just connected those dots there. That's so funny. I know the Third Strike version of that, and if anybody knows what I'm talking about, you punch me in the face, because they're a rap metal band that did a cover of that. The guy did a good Ozzy impression. So, okay. Oh, sorry. We've been messing around long enough. 20 minutes in. Let's get to the music.
Ozzy would be like, get on with it.
Yeah. What the f*** you doing?
That's him dying.
Hey, did you see they confirmed yesterday that it was a heart attack?
I did see that just now.
Because
I didn't know they confirmed it yesterday.
there was a lot of rumors about how he died and why and the circumstances surrounding it, but
I'm sure that'll put to rest the rumors.
yeah. I do want to say just real quick too, like, what is all are we fans of Ozzy in general, just like as like a pop culture icon?
Person?
Like,
Yeah, I think he's hilarious.
Nah.
Yeah,
I've always thought he was kind of cool, but I never really enjoyed his music that much
I used to love his TV
that I
show.
know of. Like, I only have one Black Sabbath or one Ozzy album, and it's it's like the blue one with the red guy on the front, kind of with his shirt off or something. I don't know any of the songs on it. Mom, I'm Coming Home, maybe might be on that one.
War Pigs is a good song.
Okay, yeah, I've heard the Faith No More version of that. That's the final track on their the album with Epic on it from the '80s. Faith No More. So that's I've heard that version of it when I haven't listened to it for many years, probably 15 years. So. But anyway, whatever. All right. Okay. So last time for me to say, let's actually get to it. We are looking at the album here. So let's see. We got 8 songs, 41 minutes, 1970. Let's look at the track list real quick. We got War Pigs is the first track at almost 8 minutes long. So that's pretty cool. I did not expect such a long song on here. And there's actually Hand of Doom track 6 is 7 minutes as well. That's awesome. So Paranoid is track 2, 3 minutes long. Planet Caravan Track 3, 4.5. Iron Man, 5:55. It's a pretty long song, slow. Electric Funeral, almost 5 minutes. Hand of Doom, 7. Rat Salad, 2:30. So that's going to probably be a fast one. And then Jack the Stripper, which is pretty hilarious. / Fairies Wear Boots.
Fairies Wear Boots is the one Corvus in Discord said to put an eye on the lyrics for Fairies Wear Boots.
Okay. We'll have to do that.
I'll try to remember.
All right. In that case, then, we are ready to start with track 1, War Pigs / Luke's Wall. Actually, now that I see that, that's actually awesome.
I don't know what that's all about.
I did find, Cody, there were many different pressings of the vinyl that were misprinted. It said Lux Wall, Luk's Wall instead of Luke's. So those are worth like $10 more, it looked like.
Nice.
But there's like every version of the album had that same mistake on it, so I don't know how that happened. Like even re-releases did the same thing, so I don't know. But yeah, apparently that's a more sought-after version, so that's kind of cool Easter egg to point out. All right, this is War Pigs with almost 400 million plays in 3, 2, 1.
What a note to start an album with. It's like it's in the middle of an instrumental.
Yeah, very cool. No one played at the same time at all. Like they were not even in the same measure. It was just.
Siren is always what I remember with this song.
One of the best sounds that doesn't use.
That's very cool.
Keep in mind, this is, throngs of the Vietnam War, too.
Oh, okay.
So that's an air raid siren.
Children gather in their masses, or whatever it is. I just love Ollie's voice, or I hate Ozzy's voice. Can't tell.
Gathered in their masses.
Dude, this is iconic.
Just like witches at black masses.
Oh, WWE uses this song all the time for war games. Huh, I've heard it every year. Who knew?
Sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning.
Oh, that's so epic.
As the war machine keeps turning.
Mostly dry vocals. There's reverb, but it's a dry signal.
Poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh, Lord, yeah.
Interesting delay on that.
Dry. I love the dryness.
Yeah, I never noticed that.
Oh, the drums are dry.
This is super dry. This is like they just recorded it and just sent it out.
Yeah, I love it. Also, the guitar's not super distorted. Not sure if they could have distorted them any more than this. Obviously, I am familiar with Tony Iommi cutting off his finger and having to detune his guitar and stuff. So I am familiar with some of that stuff. It's very loose. The drums sound great. Yeah, I love this. The snare drum's like very wooden sounding.
Yeah, just There's something that's so interesting.
Yeah.
That's enough to make you think there's something wrong with your hardware.
Psychedelic rock was around before this, right, Cody?
Yeah. So what do you think they just took that guitar track and put it on both sides?
I don't know.
Because the bass is still just on the left.
Oh yeah, I guess I didn't even notice that yet. Oh shoot, why'd you point that out to me?
Great use of space. Great. Running through that twice.
I love the hi-hats. Tapping on it with the foot.
Now in darkness, world stops turning. Ashes where the body's burning. No more war pigs have the power. And as God has struck the hour. Day of judgment, God is calling. On the knees, the war pigs crawling, begging mercies for the sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Oh Lord, yeah.
Are we sure that's not bleed from someone else's headphones?
Don't think so.
Okay. Because I'd rather it wasn't. Very cool.
Well, I'm not hearing anything, so it must be me?
Maybe, yeah.
My headphones are the ones that bleed the most. I can back my microphone up a little.
The guitars, like through all the verses, it's hard right. Guitar, bass. And then this comes in and it spreads the guitar out, but the bass stays on the left.
I can't believe I didn't notice the bass was on the left. I just was so happy the drums sounded dry and good. I hadn't got to think about the bass yet. This is very meandery, which is cool. I like it. I think this is 2 tracks of guitar now.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I'm definitely reminded of some of Metallica's instrumentals with this part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's right. I forgot it ended like that.
Wow, that was pretty cool, actually. That was actually impressive. I like that. Very strange. Okay, so
I think that delay we were hearing was a bleed from Patrick's headphones.
yeah, I mean, right now I'm still seeing you say the last sentence you just said like 20 seconds ago. Like the delay is horrendous.
I've never seen a delay like that. In my life.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like you're still listening to this song. Like this song hasn't even started for you yet. But I want to say, my first thought on the song, though, I have to say, Chris said it, and he's right. The use of space.
I didn't say it was useless.
No, the use of space.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That's totally different. From every word that you just said is different from how I heard it. So.
Oh, well, sorry.
Yes,
but
the use of space.
Yeah, but what you originally said.
The useless space.
The useless bass. No, I thought the bass was great. I couldn't even tell it wasn't a guitar. I mean, that's how stupid I am. But the use of space and the because you can just hear, you know, I'm sure I don't even know if at the time they would have done that. But like, do you think that like Tony, who are the people in this band, Cody? You read the wiki. Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, Ozzy Osbourne.
Is the Geezer Butler's a bass player?
Is Randy Rhoads in this, or is he one of Ozzy's guitarists? Or drummers?
Oh, jeez.
We should know this.
Okay, Tony Iommi, lead guitar. Geezer Butler, bass guitar. Bill Ward, drums.
Bill Ward. Okay.
I know something named Bill Ward. That's funny.
Oh.
That's okay. So only 4 guys, which means anytime you heard 2 guitars going, they were overdubbing guitar, which is interesting to note and something to keep track of as we go through. But I really wonder, like at the time, they obviously would have been able to do this, but I wonder if they even bothered. But like, imagine Tony playing on the guitar, and they go dun-dun. Now, is he just standing there holding his strings, being as quiet as possible? Like nowadays, you would just edit that out, so there was no string noise or nothing in there. It'd just be ba-dun, like with total silence.
Yeah.
So like that's it. I think my point is, I think one of the reasons it feels like it's such a big, like such a space that they're using it so well is you're hearing the quiet parts. Like the quiet hasn't been cut out. You're actually hearing the sound. Obviously, hearing the sound of the room, the guitar amps. Cody, did they record this all in one room, or did they have its stuff separate? You got to do your homework. I want to know how they did everything.
About that, they've mostly talked about like the writing of it. I don't know.
Yeah, nobody cares about the recording.
Well, anyway, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But I think
you know, I bet if I went into each individual track Wikipedia page, it probably gets into more detail.
Maybe. So anyway, I don't know, Chris. What were your thoughts on that? You had heard that song before. You said you liked that song.
Yeah, I've heard that song before, but I've never listened to it like this before.
Oh, for sure.
And it was, I was going to say, there's this thing that happens with stuff as like in the early days where it's like, oh well, you know, this person discovered gravity, and it's like, well, that's a pretty low hanging fruit for discovery, you know,
like literally.
And, yeah, and.
Yeah, that Isaac
to be a band. Yeah, he was. Yeah, I was like,
what a hack! What a hack!
I don't think anybody knew that, but like with this being from 1970, like just listening to them play, it's like this is the simplest music in the world. Like this, and especially with the way that it's recorded, it's just like it, you know, there's nothing complicated. It's just so crazy for something so legendary to be so nothing.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, and like the way that it's recorded too is just like it's super live, it's super dry, it still sounds really good, but it is just the most like 4 dudes in a garage who happen to be playing a series of notes that have never been in this order before because playing music this way has only been around for like a month and a half. And,
right.
But it still managed to be, you know, and by virtue of that, this really simple, like classically catchy, great song. It's really interesting.
I agree. And that's a lot of what you were describing there is how I felt when we were listening to the Revolver specifically by the Beatles. Because it's really just drums, bass, 1 guitar, and then someone singing. And maybe every now and then there's like a piano or something thrown in there, but like for the most part it is drums, bass, guitar, vocals. And now, what we listened to was for Beatles was the like modern remix of the album, so that it was intentionally done the way a modern record would be made. And once you pointed out that the bass was on the left, my brain was like, "Oh boy, what is going on here?"
So did you hear that spot where it was, you know, during the verse, bass left, guitar right, and then after that verse, the guitar slid across.
Yes.
And like the panning like opened up to both ears.
Yes.
And that was a really funky
in my brain, trying to listen to it for the first time, I was thinking that they just panned it, but I think what you said is right. They just took a second track and moved it over, which the Beatles pioneered that technique, the technique of copying and pasting a track, or using a tape delay within the fusion zone to make a wide image, a stereo sounding track out of a mono track, which is something we do all the time, Chris. Now in modern days, there are plugins that literally just you push a button and it does it immediately. But like that feeling of like, oh man, this is how they do that with such primitive technology. I think they could do more than we maybe are giving them credit for, especially with all the stuff the Beatles, like, I didn't know this, Chris, but like the Beatles basically changed music.
Yeah.
Like they legitimately,
that's why people like them.
They legitimately like changed music. And so like all the stuff we like about music now is because of the Beatles. And so like, even the fact that the Beatles refused to like perform live, I love that. The fact that the Beatles were like, we don't need to ever perform live. Performing live is for stupid poo-poo pants. And we're like, yeah, I'm like, yes.
Well, I'd heard that they stopped performing live because they got to a point where they could no longer hear themselves over the crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But we don't talk about the reasons why. They just the fact that they are one of the coolest bands ever, and they decided not to perform anymore. That's what I'm focusing on.
They didn't want to be restricted to stuff that, I mean, they wanted to make experimental stuff and throw that on the album too and stuff.
Right.
So.
Oh, God. Then you end up with a 5.5 minute long George Harrison sitar track. That's like unlistenable. But anyway, sorry, we're here to talk about Black Sabbath. So okay. I did say during that song that I am familiar with Tony Iommi and how he like cut up. I did a high school report on metal music I did a report in high school on metal music. And so I did a big chunk of it on Black Sabbath because that was everyone was like, well, Black Sabbath started metal. And I remember reading about how he had an accident, cut off like the tip of his fingers. They were too sensitive to play, so he tuned down the guitar. So I don't know if he's the first person, I doubt it, to ever tune a guitar down below like standard E tuning. But that's one of the reasons the guitars sound chunkier than they ever had before, was because they tuned down to full tuning, so they could do bigger, chunkier chords that are more popular today, like power chords and things like that. Or if you just tune the E string or the E string down to a D, you have your drop D tuning. And I doubt they went all the way to C, but maybe they did. I don't even know. I'm sure that's very well recorded of what they played every song in which key and whatnot, and how they tuned the guitars. But I know that was like a big reason for their sound, and that's like a classic, like a famous moment in all of music history, let alone the creation of metal through that. So, then he developed these things that he had, and tip finger extensions and all these things. But I think even with playing the finger extensions, it still hurt his fingers, and that's why he still detuned his guitar or whatever. So I'm sorry, we're not experts on this. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you guys, this is probably all stuff we should all know, but at least I'm aware of that stuff. So. Okay, so next track is Paranoid, and this is the one I so graciously sang earlier from obviously it's most famous, and people are listening to this, from the Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX from the PS1, which is a far superior game to any of the Tony Hawk games, and way better than Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX. Get that out of here. Okay, so are you guys ready for Paranoid?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. This is like less than 3 minutes. So this, from what I remember, it's a faster song, but I don't remember the song very much. So, all right, Paranoid in 3, 2, 1.
That first pass wasn't even on tempo.
It was all over the place timing wise. So now the bass is in the middle.
Vocals are very, very
slap delay. Slap echo.
Okay.
There's guitar on both sides, I think.
Way more.
But the bass is on the left, I think.
The guitar left and the guitar right. I think bass left. Yeah.
But I don't think the bass is in the middle, though, is it? It's so different from that Yes bass, Cody. This guy's like, I don't care if you hear me.
No, I think bass middle. It's so in tune. It's so like locked in with the kick and stuff.
Yeah, and it's very low passed. think it might be like 20% off the left, maybe. That's such a dirty sound. That's such a Dan Auerbach Black Keys sound. It's bluesy.
It's weird because you do feel like the bass is in the middle, but then when it goes brr, 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 brr,
It's
on the left.
Right. And maybe that's because it's mixing with some of the low frequencies in the guitar and it's pulling it over a little. Not that there's a lot of low frequencies in the guitar.
Everything about this song sounds completely different than the first guy.
Yeah. Drums are still dry and in the middle, though.
Yeah.
That is like the smallest amount of distortion you could ever put on anything. No one would have a guitar sound like that and do that nowadays.
It's almost like it's just regular but broken.
Yeah. Well, maybe that, yes. The speaker tour, so they had to, this is what it sounded like. What a melody, though, you know? And it's just the same thing over and over. Just
Done.
oh, shoot.
How is that
I
a song?
screwed that up. Oh, no. We're not listening to the new Styx album
How
that
is
came
that a
out.
song?
Well, it's nice and catchy, fast, can fit it on one side of a 45. It's not 7 minutes.
Yeah, so they did intend, like, this album was originally going to be called War Pigs, and that was going to be the lead single. And I don't know, maybe it would have been shorter. But I don't know if it was the label or someone, they just came up with Paranoid as a little filler song, apparently, and then they decided to make that the single.
Interesting.
And titled the album that. They didn't want the album to be seen as like an anti-war thing, because that was not very in vogue in 1970.
Okay.
So, yeah.
How interesting, though.
The most in vogue in 1970?
Well, I don't know. Maybe in the eyes of the label, I think
fair.
there was kind of a backlash against the hippie stuff then.
Yeah.
Really interesting that that's like their most played song. Is it? Let me
Yes,
look on
yes.
Black Sabbath real quick. Just
I didn't see anything.
Paranoid.
I didn't see anything on any of the other that high level plays.
No.
And it is interesting.
Uh-uh.
That song is just. I don't know.
Well,
It's nothing.
if
It's
you would have
nothing.
asked me before this what their number one song is, I would have said Crazy Train first. Then I obviously would have been wrong and stupid. I'm an idiot. But I would have definitely
said the same thing.
I would have definitely said Iron Man as like,
Yeah.
you know, for sure.
Yeah.
And the fact that this has 3 times the plays of Iron Man is like, well, twice the plays of Iron Man is crazy. It's been in a lot of stuff. You know, it's used all the time and stuff.
Sure.
Most notably, obviously, Dave Mira's Pro Freestyle BMX PS1.
Most notably.
Most notably. I like that.
I don't know. Any 40
What I was thinking
commercial.
after these first couple of songs is I was thinking Ozzy has such a iconic voice that I can't believe that this band went on and had a huge successful career in the 80s after he left.
I've never heard of them.
Me either. I didn't even know.
I mean, I did not know there was a Black Sabbath without Ozzy.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until Cody told me a couple videos ago. We were recording something, and he's like, Dio was in Black Sabbath. I'm like, what? What? And then I found out Ronnie James Dio was the original singer for the band Rainbow. And I was like, what? What?
I didn't know Dio was anything other than just Dio. Like,
I know.
He was a single man out from which music just happened.
Yes, that's what I thought too. I was,
Yeah, but as far as I can tell, like I think they're pretty highly revered for even through the Dio years. But it's like there's such a different sound with that vocalist change
yeah.
that it's just good for them for being able to pivot, I guess.
Yeah.
I do want to say I did a bunch of I did look yesterday at their discography quite a bit because I wanted to know if they ever got back together and recorded an album with Ozzy after the fact, and they did. In 2013, they released an album with the original lineup, I believe, the full lineup with Ozzy on vocals.
Oh, that's cool.
It's called 2017, and the album is called 13. Even though it's like their 27th album or something. But like, I would love to hear Black Sabbath in, I'm sure their style, there. It would be crazy to listen to this and then that. You know what I mean? Maybe we'll listen to one song from that just because I'm curious about it after we're done listening to this. But like, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah, I wonder what it sounds like.
I do have to point out the lack of distortion on those guitars. Like it's like ching, 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 ching. Like it's so like it's hysterical for a guitar part, but like at the time it's what they were doing. And you know, like Chris and I were talking about, Chris Schoenberg and I were talking in the Slayer video about how when Rick Rubin, I think it was or someone, I think it was Rick Rubin, was producing the Slayer album Rain in Blood that Chris and I listened to, they were talking about how at the time all heavy music was mixed the way that like hair metal was mixed, with lots of reverb and like stadium rock, the way that was mixed. And they had the idea to make everything dry, like this is dry, because the way that Slayer plays metal is the way Metallica plays metal, which is very fast. And if you're playing fast notes and there's reverb on it, it sounds like a mushy mess.
Yeah, it's mud.
Which is my whole problem with Metallica's first 3 albums. That's why I don't like the way they're mixed at all. And just so happens that Rain and Blood came out like the same year as, you know, Master of Puppets, so their 3rd album. And so after that, Metallica definitely adopted a style more like that for And Justice, except without a bass, because they were idiots. And so like that kind of a thing, it's so interesting to think about the history of heavy music and how it started like this, like dry as dry. Then it got super 80s, just like all music in the 80s did. Reverb everywhere, giant cavernous reverb on drums, everything, you know. Cody, we were talking about ZZ Top last video, right? Yeah. Big difference between Eliminator and ZZ Top's first album, you know? Oh, yeah. Dry, reverb and effects everywhere. Then they became dry later on again. And so it's really interesting to think about how that stuff works, and the fact that these guys chose to make it dry. Like, did they even know any better? Or is it just what they thought sounded good? Like, who produced this?
It's so weird because,
you know,
I was just thinking this album sounds like if you were to make an album that sounded like this now, it would be the most low budget outfit in the universe. Like,
yeah,
with modern tech, especially with modern mics and recording and stuff, it would cost nothing to make this album. But it sounds so good. And for being so old, I feel like it may have been a high budget production, and that's why it sounds good. But otherwise, it's completely devoid of any effects of any kind.
It was produced by Roger Bain.
I see that. It says this was recorded 4 months after their first album, and they wanted to get in there and record right away.
Wow.
It says they didn't have enough songs for the album, so Tony just started playing a guitar lick, and that became the song. 25 minutes later, they recorded the entire Paranoid song.
That tracks, yeah.
I could see that, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Blur, right? They did that with Song 2. Oh. It was just supposed to be a joke that they were going to show the record label to be like, this is what our album sounds like, because they were pissed at the record label. And then it turns out they were like, yes, release it, and it became like by far their biggest hit ever.
It's really crazy how often that happens. Where like the biggest song any band has ever had was like, oh, I wrote this on a napkin while I was pooping, or I just played a guitar lick and like read the ingredients off of a cake box, and now it's like the biggest thing that's ever happened. It's got to be really frustrating as an artist.
Yeah, because it's kind of like, oh, I guess the label does know best.
Yeah, I mean, you put all your creative energy into all this other stuff, and it's the thing you barely pooped out, like Chris said, that is the thing that everybody loves. But I mean, that's what happens. Like, you're working on something, and all of a sudden it just falls into place for just a little bit, and that's like the best thing you ever did. It's weird how that works out.
Yeah,
I've experienced that too. You know?
One thing I was just thinking is like that classic adage that anything that is made for everybody is made for nobody.
Yes.
And anything that, like, if you sit and you really are like tinkering, pushing your art to the next level, like making something that is like you're really trying to squeeze every last drop out of this turnip. Like, that's going to end up being the thing that's just for you or people like you. But anything that's just like times 4, like that, you know, that doesn't have an identity in a way. Like, that's for everyone. And so now suddenly it's got 1.6 billion listens on here.
Yeah. And that's where art and entertainment, you know, kind of like which thing is it, you know? Can it be both? Of course it can. Can it be one or the other? Yeah, absolutely. So All right, let's go on to, this is for sure the first track I don't think I've ever heard. This is Planet Caravan, 4.5 minutes. It looks like it's got a decent number of plays. Hand of Doom has by far the least. Or no, Rat Salad. People don't really listen to the second half of the album is what I'm getting. But this is Planet Caravan. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
In 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. This is congos or bongos or whichever one it is.
Zongos.
Is that Ozzy?
It sounds like an organ. But
They probably put his voice through a Leslie speaker.
Yeah,
a rotary
yeah,
speaker. Yeah. The bass sounds so good. Right in the middle.
All these little bongo hits. They're just all over the place.
Yeah.
And they sound so good. It's so quiet.
Well, Chris, it's because there's 2 bongos like this. I'm not even joking, but there's 2 bongos like this, and you put microphone in front of each one, and it's a stereo image. And then it's just you need a good player to play them.
Even though really they do kind of just sound like they're getting rained on.
Yeah. This is great. If it's this for 4.5 minutes, I don't know, but this is pretty cool. Ooh, reverse something in there. Wow.
I don't know.
This is so chill.
I could say how that was made. That track, that effect.
yeah.
It sounded like guitar.
Slap back, left and right thing. But
Wow, that's such a cool sound. Cool sound.
It's a flute reversed with delay.
Wow.
I knew that. That's exactly what it sounds like.
It does. Yeah, it's some sort of like a wooden flute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
I'm gonna play around making something sound like that. 'Cause
Yeah,
really
that's
great.
very cool. It almost sounds like bubbly, like underwater.
Yeah. Now we're talking about music here. Like, this is so much more interesting. It's so quiet. It's so quiet.
It's very chill.
Do you think it's live?
No.
Okay.
Piano. On the left. Very cool.
Rat salad must be garbage.
Yeah, it must be. I have to say I apologize to everyone watching the video because I didn't have my Spotify up, so I wasn't capturing the Spotify.
But that's okay.
No, everything's screwed up. I'm gonna have to use the desktop audio, which includes your guys' dumb voices in it. It's gonna be awful.
Oh no. Wait, you can put audio. You can put the tracks back over the video.
Interesting little. What's happening to you right now? Can you hear the music? Are we still doing this? Are we still doing this?
Yeah, I hear it. I just hold on. I'm pausing it, and then I gotta fix something. Hopefully, we had desktop audio recording that whole time, so if nothing else, I can somehow make it work. But we're only 3 songs in, so okay.
You have
all right.
You have us on all 3 on different tracks, don't you?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I forgot to check that, like a dummy. Okay, so let's talk about that song. I really liked it a lot.
Awesome.
It was
Yeah,
chill.
sweet.
They added things I wasn't expecting a piano on this album at all. Like no keyboards at all. Very cool. The bass was very tasty the whole time, just low passed, nice and just very very tasty, you know. And then the guitar solo that was just kind of going very nice, also tasty. The rotary vocal effect, very cool. I liked it a lot. I didn't even. I said at the beginning, oh, if it's like this the whole time, you know, it didn't bother me. It didn't bother me that it was like that. I think
No, because it just kept adding, you know, just enough.
exactly. They added elements. There was nice guitar solos, stuff like that. So again, bluesy influenced, I think. So yeah, very cool.
Little psychedelic rock in there with it.
Yeah. How did you feel about that one, Cody? That's probably the least metal thing we'll hear here.
That's true. I like it. I didn't actually remember that track. And maybe it's just because I've never really sat. If you're not paying attention to it, you just kind of washes over.
Yeah,
you.
that one could kind of get back on me.
But sitting down and listening to it, it was awesome.
Yeah.
I love that backwards flute thing they do.
That was so
Did you-
awesome.
Did you read that actually was a backwards flute, or was it a guess?
It says Iommi overdubbed flute to the reversed multi-track master, which was then re-forwarded and treated with stereo delay.
Beautiful.
That is exactly
Yep,
it.
that's beautiful.
Yep, exactly it. And it was a wood flute type thing too. It wasn't like a flute, like a orchestral
Yeah.
flute.
Yeah.
It was
Must have been, yeah.
like a Native American sounding instrument type thing, which is really cool.
Like a pan flute.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, like a pan flute of some kind, but like a low frequency one, not a tin whistle type thing, but like yeah. All right, very cool. All right, now we're on to the iconic Iron Man.
Do we know if this is actually related to Iron Man, the character?
I looked this up at one point. I'll get that answer before the end of this.
Okay. This is, I don't know if I've ever listened to this, like, focusing on it, so I'm very excited to hear
Okay.
this. All right, Iron Man, in 3, 2, 1. Kick off to the right, dummies. Oh,
Moving.
now it's in the middle.
Moving into center. Weird.
Cody, look up how they did that.
What, the slide?
The I am Iron Man.
Yeah, it just. Oh, sure.
No, the I am Iron Man
This
part.
crazy pan in it. No, I know, but I'm telling you,
Yo,
there's
sure.
this pan
Yeah,
in
yeah.
here that's really interesting.
Yeah. Bass on the left. Do I look kind of like Inigo Montoya?
Kind
No.
I love that. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Vocals double tracked, spread a little wide.
There's this like in and out on the symbol on the right hand side. It's almost like a,
Okay.
I don't know.
I would have never guessed that there's only one track of guitar in this. I mean, that's shocking me. He's really hammering those bass strings, though. You can really hear the pluck on the string. It's almost like a click sound. Ozzy has such a whiny voice.
But not Dave Mustaine style.
There is guitar on the left side.
Yes.
It's high, it's low passed, so you can't hear any high frequencies. You hear the high frequencies of the bass over it. But the bass is essentially just doing the same thing the guitar is doing anyway. This sounds so much better than that Yes album. I really think so. I really do think so. Or I like the way this sounds better. It's
Sure.
It's mixed better. The vocals are loud enough. It's not too chaotic. The mix.
Oh, that double tracking on the guitar has disappeared now.
Yes.
Hear everything the bass is doing.
Because you couldn't do this twice. Or if they were using some kind of effect. Now it's back. No, that's just straight up 2 tracks. Probably, maybe the greatest riff of all time.
And there's nothing to it. It's like that's the
I know.
first thing you learn when you pick up a guitar.
Yeah, it's like Smoke on the Water, Brain Stew by Green Day.
Yep.
I've never heard that before.
He took off and left.
Yeah.
Back to his home planet.
That's
They
how
do a lot
they
of funny
ended the
little
first
speed
track.
things in this so far. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've heard this part before.
I would hope
Play
so.
that on the guitar. Oh. I was expecting Barracuda.
No, this is my kind of jam. He's going wild on that bass. Nice. Did not fade out.
Yeah.
No. So I just looked because I was curious. ZZ Top's first album came out this same year. And the
Okay.
reason I bring that up is because I feel like that last section of the song, ZZ Top could do that too. Do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like it wouldn't be too far from what they would make. Not with minus the, you know, minus the like the menacing quality in the music, but just the like type of stuff and the drums and everything. Like they could do that kind of stuff. So I just was curious, you know, because I think that they don't get enough credit for being like a relatively heavy band early on.
To me, this is the iconic song of the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Paranoid is. I'm just surprised to see Paranoid so much higher.
I know, right?
But okay. In terms of like background on this song, first of all, the title, it was originally titled Iron Bloke.
I am Iron Bloke. We get Iron Bloke over here.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Because Ozzy Osbourne heard the riff and remarked that it sounded like a big iron bloke walking around.
Love it.
A gentleman and a scholar, it seems.
Yes. And then Geezer Butler came up with the lyrics, and that's when the title changed. The There's a whole section on Wikipedia. The effect used to create the distorted vocal in the intro has been a topic of conjecture.
Mm-hmm.
Some have speculated that it was using a ring modulator, whatever that is.
Yes.
In 1970?
Well, yeah.
Early.
And then, but according to Geezer Butler, it was just him singing through an oscillating fan.
Perfect.
No way.
Probably not.
Maybe
But
they did some pitch manipulation to it too. I could maybe see that, but I don't think so.
It does feel like it's slowed down rather than
you wouldn't
just
get any
singing
wind
slower.
noise. Like,
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You would have so much, rather.
I don't know, maybe
yeah.
you could take like a fan and not like use like flat blades so it's not actually making wind noise.
Well, no, you just put the microphone off to the side, and
Yeah.
you could do that.
If you go back and listen to it, it's clearly, I don't want to say a digital effect because that's ridiculous, but it's got like some pretty hard transients in the way that the thing changes. And I don't buy the fan thing.
It doesn't sound.
It's too.
We've all sang into a fan.
You know what?
It doesn't
Hold
really
on.
sound like that.
Hold on. I think it could honestly be him singing through a fan and then them just pitch shift, like time stretching it.
I don't think so. I really don't. Ring mod makes sense.
Are you saying Geezer Butler is wrong?
It's like the coolest thing ever, and that's what it was. If that's what it was, I don't know. But I'm going to try that next time I'm near a fan. Just record it and then pitch shift it down a little, or, time correct it, time shift it so to stretch it out. That's a classic song. It's a classic song for a reason. It's iconic. It's one of the most famous guitar riffs of all time. Like you said, Chris, that's one of the first things you learn when you're playing the guitar. You pick it up and you go, and then you go, and then you go, right? That's pretty much it. And I actually, when I first picked up my guitar, I started going drum drum dum 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 dum, which was "Fire Water Burn" by the Bloodhound Gang. Was the first song I learned. Burn, mother, burn.
Oh, so the only other thing is we mentioned. Does it have anything to do with Iron Man? Which I kind of answered that with Ozzy's thing, but
sounds like
no.
probably not.
So Iron Man did predate it by like 10 years or something, but they were not familiar with the comic.
Cool.
I did read
coincidence.
something when I was reading a little bit of the wiki article about Black Sabbath yesterday. I just was reading about them in general, nothing from this album specific. But I did read that after someone was always writing the lyrics, and that when Ozzy, they left, or when Ozzy left, he had a real hard time with lyrics because he wasn't used to writing lyrics. It was always someone else that wrote them, which I thought that was kind of interesting. It's
So all Ozzy did was sing?
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Or whine, if you just actually listen to what he's doing. It just sounds like he's whining. I'm not saying it's not amazing and iconic, because it is.
I was thinking,
Right.
listening to War Pigs, I was thinking his voice was pretty good on some of those.
Well, War
some of those
Pigs is,
notes he's
yes.
hitting.
Yes.
He clearly knows how to sing. He just has
yeah.
a weird voice
Yeah.
as a person. He's no Dave Mustaine.
No one's Dave Mustaine, thank God. But clearly he does know how to sing, and clearly, this goes without saying, but sometimes people get mad at us. We understand there was no pitch correcting back then. We understand that, so we know that
Just
there was no
speed change,
auto-tune.
right?
Yeah. Well, you could pitch. Yeah, you would have to
you can
adjust the
literally
speed,
just-
and then that would be adjusting the pitch if you did it that way.
But I don't think they did that to like correct.
No,
No, that'd be
vocalists,
way
so-
too complex
Yeah,
to
it's
do
so
that.
hard.
Yeah, that'd be you yeah, that's math beyond an audio engineer. Okay, so since we're familiar with that one, let's move on.
Okay.
The next track is Electric Funeral, 5 minutes. Now, I don't know what to expect for obviously the rest of the
Same.
album, but I'm
I
just
hope we get
really
another
excited.
Planet Caravan with this.
Yeah, something a little more down tempo. All right, so this is Electric Funeral in 3, 2, 1. Whoa. It's just every stoner metal band I've ever heard is trying to do this. The
Yes.
Sword, Red Fang, White Fang,
Yes.
any one of those bands is doing this. Mastodon?
Pretty sure you get a free copy of this album when you buy a Blacklight.
Yeah. The guitars are really loud in this. It could be the master pumping up the sides, like I always say, when they're the remaster.
This reminds me of some Alice in Chains too.
Oh, I'm sure that Alice in Chains a huge influence, or they were a huge influence on Alice in Chains. I don't know much Alice in Chains though, so.
We should try that out, one of their albums sometime.
Yeah, Dirt. I have that one on CD. I think. I don't know which songs are on it though.
Okay.
Cody, did you know Alice Cooper released a new album this year? The original band, Alice Cooper.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they just released it, I think a couple weeks ago. With Alice Cooper, the original lineup.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So there's no bass happening currently, right?
Maybe
No, it's on the right.
I don't know. On the. Yes, it was on the right.
There it is. Weird.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had any clean vocals since that first track.
I don't know. It just sounds like he's trying.
I thought that was you.
I know. It sounded like me joking around. Wow. But I was going to say, it sounds like it's so hard for Ozzy to sing on pitch. It sounds like he's struggling for every note, you know?
Well, and that's weird because I was thinking the opposite. It's really impressive that he's following the way that guitar's written.
Well, in that part, I agree. I mean, it sounds like he's mocking something. You know?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Which is something we've also said about Dave Mustaine, as you do your Dave Mustaine impression currently.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Oh. I wonder if I've heard another band do a cover of this song, because that riff sounds familiar. And then it's got a wah pedal thing on it. Wow, 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 wow. It's an interesting cymbal sound, too. Ah.
Long fade out.
I like that cymbal. We should just stop now and end it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Interesting with the wah pedal there. That was the thing that drove that. The wow, 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 wow. That is what drove that. That was the core, the signature sound of that track. So, I don't know. That one I didn't care for as much, I don't think.
Nah.
I guess
it was interesting that the bass and guitar switch sides.
Yeah, for that song, yeah. I don't know. There was also, the guitar was double-tracked a lot of the time as well, so I don't know. It is interesting that they did that, but I don't. And it was much louder when it came in, too. I feel like that song was just louder in general, kind of. I don't know. Maybe there were less frequencies in that one, so it could hit the master a little harder or something. I don't know. Could have been. I did also mention it could have been the remaster. A lot of the times when you remaster things, what happens is the stuff on the farther something is to the left and right, the more it's brought up in the mix, and you can actually lose a lot of that stereo image in terms of how loud the middle is supposed to sound in relation to the outsides. That's a problem with a lot of remasters. And I've actually been thinking about that a lot recently because we're going to do some Blur coming up, Cody, and I decided the originals remasters are way better than the remasters.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I decided the same thing with, what else was I thinking was the same way? Depeche Mode. Depeche Mode remasters, not as good as the original master.
Wow.
And a lot of it has to do with compression, you know, and what they're trying to do with all these masters nowadays is they try to compress it so that it's the same volume as anything else coming out nowadays. And so in order to get that, to achieve that, they have to compress the snot out of it. And what happens is you lose the dynamicism between the middle of the mix and the outside of the mix. And that's just the way it is.
Yep.
All right. I don't know that. Yeah. Okay. Hand of Doom, the least, or the almost the least played song. We still have Terrible Rat Salad apparently coming up. But this is Hand of Doom first. Badass song title. In
7 minutes.
Yes. Yep. In 3, 2, 1.
Another one on the right. Interesting.
Like the kick sound. Everything's being played quietly.
Uh-huh.
What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Time's caught up with you.
I think I might be realizing I don't like Ozzy.
Now
Oh, man.
it's your turn. You know there's no return.
Oh, cool.
Take
Yeah.
empty roads.
Wow.
You join the other fools. Turn to something new. Now it's killing you. First it was the bomb. Vietnam, Nepal.
Napalm? He said Vietnam napalm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is about soldiers coming home with drug addictions.
Nice.
Sure. Dude, I love the dynamics in this. I was just talking about that, but man, this is great.
Colors in your mind. Satisfying time. Oh, you know you must be blind to do such things like this. To take the sweet that you don't know. You're giving death a kiss. Fool, little fool now.
I love this. This might be my favorite song we've heard.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This
Like
is
that.
great.
It's just like a medley.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, this is badass. I love all these builds. All right.
Based on the right again. I wonder if it changes the rest of the album.
Yeah. Oh.
Weird. It's all over the place.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of blowing me away, this song. It pisses me off that people don't listen to it.
Right? That sounds gonna be awesome.
Your skin starts turning green.
Yeah, probably not. It's only 2.5 minutes long.
Your eyes no longer see life's reality.
You could literally hear him turn up the knob on the guitar. Awesome. Or moving the faders up on the board.
Holes are in your skin.
All these drum fills too.
Head starts spinning round.
This is great. This is my favorite Black Sabbath song.
To the ground.
Why are people so stupid?
Feel your body heat.
Well, you know, one man appreciated it. Man, Glenn Danzig covered this.
Oh, there we go.
All right. I'll wait till this is over.
You wouldn't learn. Price of life you hide. Now you're gonna die.
What a good use of bass and drums and guitar.
Yeah.
And the vocals are perfect.
Throughout.
Yeah. I don't even care that faded out. I don't even care. That was so good.
Yeah.
First time
That was
you've ever said
legitimately
that.
so good. That is the best song on this album. That was so good. Honestly, though, like, right? Do you guys agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to compare that to something like Iron Man, but
Yeah.
it was the most interesting song.
Yeah. Very dynamic.
I like the changes. I like how it came back to that bass part like 2 or 3 times.
I think, like, mechanically it was the coolest and most interesting. It's not, like... It was so disjointed that it's not like a song I would ever want to go listen to, but for the purposes of what we're doing here, and just a great showcase of what they could still do with the limited tech they had, is like, that was a really cool song. Super cool.
And I
So,
thought
this
Ozzy's
Danzig
vocals
thing.
were awesome.
Okay,
Or
go
go
ahead.
ahead about Danzig.
So earlier when we were talking about Ozzy leaving Black Sabbath and then like making jokes about like just some metal person who we only know by name as a Dio, and like just like there's metal entities.
Yeah.
I had Danzig's wiki page pulled up because I was going to make that joke about how Black Sabbath was just like a vessel for all of the 80s metal rocker people who were only ever just known by who they are, like Dio and Danzig, and how they all just like filtered in and out. All of these different people filtered out through Black Sabbath. So it's like to have him come up again without me actually getting an opportunity to make that stupid joke just really was too much for me.
Well, and I find it interesting that he would go from, because he was in the Misfits, so it's interesting to go from making 59 or 45-second long Misfits songs to 7-minute long Hand of whatever.
Yeah, what a
Hand of
what
Sorrow.
a crazy cover for
Hand
those
of Doom.
Misfits fans.
Yeah. That's like literally a whole Misfits album could fit inside of the song "Hand of Doom."
And Hand of Doom
So it's
sounds like 8 different songs, so maybe it is just a hidden Misfits album.
Yeah, but I agree with you, but it did keep coming back. So it was all the same thing, but just, clearly different parts of the same song. And so I loved that aspect of it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I dug that song a lot, man.
It had some cool stuff in it for sure.
Okay, let's get over Rat Salad.
I love how this has just become a whole thing. Rat Salad.
I know.
Simply because of how few listens it has and its length. It's gone from anywhere between the crappiest song on the album to the best. And now it's just like, let's get this thing over with. Like,
get it over with. Okay, we got to get through. Okay, this is Rat Salad in 3, 2, 1.
End.
It's like a fly buzzing around a mosquito.
Maybe it's just an instrumental.
This sounds like a different
You can
band.
really hear the high end of this
On the right
buzz
side.
on the right-hand side. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible. Yeah. Yeah, there's no lyrics for this. This is just an instrumental. People only want to listen to Ozzy sing. They don't care about Black Sabbath, just Ozzy.
Do you think a 2.5-minute instrumental is more useless than an 8-minute one?
No.
This says Rat Salad was a showcase for Bill Ward, the drummer.
Okay.
Okay.
He's been pretty impressive to me, honestly, I think, the whole time. A lot of fills.
Sure.
Cody, these drums sound 100 times better than that stupid Yes album.
You like that Yes album.
Yeah, I like the songs, but not the way the drums sounded. The kick drum sounded like...
Is the kick only on the right?
I can't tell.
I think it might be panned a little to the right. Maybe not, though.
But
Okay. Now I know why no one listens to this.
it is mostly
was a
on the right, and there's toms on the right too. It's this weird spread. I mean, it could be the way that it's, just mic'd up or whatever, but it's interesting.
You should never put a drum solo on an album. Do that live.
I'll dig that, yeah.
I mean, unless it's a reasonable length. Pretty cool. I like the first 30 seconds of it and the last 5. So, but I will bring up what I said again. I think the drums sounded fantastic there. I loved that. I thought they sounded really great. Close mic'd drums, dry, with basically, I think you're right, Chris, that the kick was panned a little bit to the right, and that's probably because if you're looking at the drummer, or from the drummer's perspective, the kick is a little bit to the right because the way you're sitting, and then the snare might be in the direct center or a little bit to the left, hi-hat off to the left, and the stuff around you. So
Do you think it's possible that he had 2 kicks? Or is it too early in the process of metal for that?
Oh, I mean, he could have, but I don't think so.
Yeah, when was that invented?
Double kick, double
Slayer?
bass. Mm-hmm. No, no. Metallica was doing double bass a little bit before then. Band Cactus.
I don't know. The problem is, it's like whenever you look up who did the first whatever, it's always like some dude in 1930s.
Yeah,
I had that happen earlier. I was like, when did stereo music
This
start?
guy
It was
said, this guy says Ginger Baker on White Room. He was in Cream. That was in the 60s. Has a good example of double bass. So I think it was around in psychedelic rock and stuff before metal stuff.
definitely
so it's
being
hard to
used
say.
in a different context, though. I mean, it was never chug, like, it wasn't ever that.
I know. I can't really picture it in White Room, but yeah, I don't know.
And they did this has no double kick in it. Or
Right,
anything
yeah.
like
So
that.
maybe this isn't the right time to look that up anyway.
I don't know. But yeah, there's I'm sure it's in the 70s where it started, but I don't know what band it would have been.
Yeah.
Like Chris was saying, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden for sure used it a lot, but I don't know how far early Iron Maiden you started before, like, you know, anything. But I think Iron Maiden for sure did that, as far as I understand. And I don't know anything about Judas Priest music. I can't even tell you a single song they sing. So, Let us know if you want us to react to that stuff. We'll do it better than this reaction, probably. I wonder if anyone will have any negative comments for us on this one.
You think? So, I think people refer to this as Fairies Wear Boots. It's not like 2 songs. It's 2 different titles. One was in America.
Oh.
And the British title was Fairies Wear Boots. And I think that's kind of like my American repressing here has Fairies Wear Boots.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
So, yeah.
Jack the Stripper is way cooler than Fairies Wear Boots. Jack the Stripper is badass.
Yeah.
Because it brings up so many questions.
We should pull up the lyrics on this because this is the one that has some interesting
Yep, we'll
ones.
do. Are you guys ready to get into Jack the Stripper / Fairies Wear Boots? In 3, 2, 1. Don't read ahead.
Okay.
Boy, having those 2 guitars offset from each other really threw me for a sec.
I wonder if the Beatles have ever talked about hearing this and having it kind of blow their minds. You know?
Hadn't they already blown a bunch of minds before this album ever came out?
No, I know. I meant having this blow their minds. Just, I'm curious, well, or not. I wonder if they were liked this, though.
Music did change a lot around the 2 years after they broke up.
Yeah, no, I know.
The Beatles were only a band for, what, like 8 years?
They broke up in 70.
Oh, never mind.
10 years.
They came to America in 63.
Okay.
Suddenly I got a fright. Yeah, I looked through a window and surprised what I saw. Fairy boots are dancing with the dwarf.
Huh.
Right now.
That's like the filler thing that he says. Oh, right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, right now.
By the way, this is officially metal because it's talking about dwarves.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. Gene Simmons would agree.
Dio's Law.
This is just a blues song. If you distorted the guitars, this is just straight up a blues song. Ooh.
This really sounds so good.
It does.
$55 years old.
Wow. It'd be in the public domain in 20 years.
Then you can finally monetize it. This video.
Yeah.
And you can finally make Black Sabbath versus Abe Lincoln the movie.
Yeah. Or Black Sabbath versus Mickey Mouse.
Yep. Shaker on the right there, sounding great.
Yes, good call.
You can hear how many little seeds are in that thing. Sounds great.
This is recorded very well.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if their music gets a little samey. And if they keep playing like this, like, he's really only played like 2 chords the entire album.
So many
like,
times
every time
I'm
he
like,
hits a
this
thing,
sounds like he's going to kick into this song or this song.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because they're playing, they're in the same key. This is cool. Like very, it's very bluesy. These are the dumbest lyrics ever. Almost. Uh-oh. There's some coming up that's not about fairies. We'll see what happens. I'm not looking.
I saw it.
Saw it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd love it if that was just the end of the song.
The reverb that built around it. That was great.
That was cool. Wait, that is the end of the song.
Yeah.
Or that's the last lyric. Oh man, that's hilarious.
I would love to see an interview with Ozzy in 1970. I just want to know how he was like.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could find one.
Yeah, I'm sure. Right, they were big, but it's like I just
yeah.
picture him, in the 90s and later. Just bumbling.
That was weird.
Yeah.
How that fade out was like volume up and down.
So the lyrics there are, I mean, you kind of got the gist of them, but they also wrote that because they didn't like that a lot of skinheads were into their music. And, as you can imagine, skinheads wearing boots, so they're like, hey, fairies wear boots.
I like that.
So they're kind of sticking it
That's
to
actually
skinheads.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Back
That's
when we
cool.
still hated skinheads.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. That was cool. I think that was a great song. Like, legitimately, that was a cool song. Like you pointed out, Chris, like it sounded really good, but the whole album sounded that good.
It's true.
I'm really impressed. I'm shocked.
I think my 2 highlights are still probably like War Pigs and Planet Caravan. Like the clean vocals of War Pigs is really impressive and doesn't seem to exist anywhere else on the album. And Planet Caravan was just super cool. I don't know. I really liked it a lot.
Hand of Doom, I was focusing on his vocal in Hand of Doom because he was hitting some pretty clean notes in that. I don't exactly know what effects were on it, but I was thinking about that in War Pigs and Hand of Doom.
So here's my question about Ozzy's vocals then. To me, it almost I would be really curious to hear as they went on through technology. Again, I don't know very many like Black or Ozzy songs where it's just him, because I'm sure he did this later on, but I wonder if it's hard for someone like Ozzy to overdub himself. I mean, there were several times there where he was doing it, but they were using it as like a panned effect. But like he seems to me almost like Willie Nelson, where it'd be like impossible for him to like dub himself because he sings it differently every time a little bit. You know what I mean? Like legitimately not as easy to overdub himself because he's kind of freestyling as he's doing it in terms of where to fluctuate and everything. And it might be hard for him to overdub himself if he was trying to like maybe even do harmony vocals or something. And I don't know if he does that later on in his career. He has such an iconic voice, and maybe it's just because he has that one singular voice, you know?
He's definitely the vocal equivalent of all of the instrumentation on the album. Like, it all is the same kind of like
minimalistic, really.
Yeah, it's this weird thing where it's like these guys sound like they are simultaneously very good and also not that good. Just with the way that the way that it's recorded and how live it is, and it just is like they kind of wandered. Like they're not.
That's all right.
They don't care a whole lot about like being locked in, like quantized on time signature.
Right.
And
Very loose.
They're really just jamming. Super
Yes,
loose. The whole
very
thing.
loose. But the cool thing about it is when they did overdub the guitar, it was spot on. So like I do think it was intentional, or at least the way that Tony Iommi was playing was intentional enough that he could overdub himself perfectly. And I think that was one of the things I was going to tell you. I was going to be like, oh, I think this might be one of the most, this will make people really mad. But listening to that, it made me want to think like, oh, I could do this. You know,
Right.
It seems like it'd be so attainable to do this because they were so loose and so simple, but at the same time, you can't really think of it that way, you know?
Right, because they already did it.
They did it, and they did it 50 years ago, you know? So it's
Exactly.
like, you know, nowadays they don't really make records like this so much anymore, but like I said, Black Keys is this. Like,
Yeah.
this is the Black Keys, but with a little bit more low end, a lot more low end. You know, and so it's really fun to go back and hear this. I thought that sounded fantastic. Now, I will say, when you compare this, Cody, to the Yes album we listened to, that had so much more like sheen on it. Like it was so like wrapped in plastic, like very... I did have problems with that mix because, Chris, it was the worst kick drum ever. Like the bass player wanted to be the only low frequency in the mix, and so he was like,
just a slap?
Oh, it slaps, and it's distorted slap. It's crazy. But but this was just, everything was so well rounded. The frequencies were perfect. It sounded just so nice. It really did. It sounded very pleasant.
Really sounded nice.
Yeah, and whereas the Yes album, Chris, Cody and I keep having a little trouble because it's chaotic at times when they're trying to be like a band, and they also have the problem, which we were discussing today, that they are all trying to kind of like one-up each other. None of that here. Like everyone laying back, everybody simple, everybody, you know, maybe it's because they didn't have the chops at the time. Although, like I said, it's a bunch of very famous riffs on this album. So they clearly knew what they were doing. But also at the same time, like you were saying, Chris, when you're the first person to write a guitar riff with a distortion turned up to 11, you know, anything you come up with is going to be great, you know, but it's like, you know, dun 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 dun, like that's iconic.
Yeah.
Right, it is.
It's iconic, and it's just
because
as good
they
as
got there
anything.
first.
Yeah, really.
They're not
Yeah.
doing anything particularly inventive. They just got there first, which is like, it's not to downplay how like genius it is as a riff or whatever, because things get
Right.
blown up into something so much more than they are over time. But they really were just, I mean, you just noodle around. None of this is particularly complicated, which I
No.
think is one of the reasons that makes it so iconic, is that
Yeah.
Sure.
everybody just got
And
there
memorable.
first.
Yeah, and memorable, exactly. Yes. And
I'm
I think
terribly sorry, guys. I have to run. It's kind of
Okay.
an emergency. But
that's fine.
Overall, I love this album.
All right.
And yeah, I'm gonna watch what you guys have to say with it after you put the video out, because I'm curious of your thoughts. But it's
Okay.
to go.
Okay.
Cool.
Yep. See ya.
See you later.
All right. Thanks, guys.
So I think, let's see. First of all, I liked this more. So let's just talk about the album overall. I think I liked this more than I thought I was going to, a lot.
Same. Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to hate it, but I didn't think it was going to sound this good, and I didn't think it was going to be as... It's so different. I hate to keep comparing it to the Yes album,
Yeah.
but Cody and I were talking in that the Yes music is coming from a place of like jazz fused with rock, and boy, do I dislike that more than a rock music where they're bringing blues into rock music.
yeah.
And I've said that
Blues.
before.
Blues always seems to be if any rock that includes blues is just, I mean, that's up my alley too. It's such a better fusion.
Right, and even like that's one of the reasons I like Load and Reload so much. Like I feel like Metallica was channeling their inner blues, and Kirk's solos are so much better, I think, on those albums, because it's more bluesy rather than trying to be technical and impressive, and maybe not necessarily jazzy, but maybe a little bit jazzy. And so, you know, I think this is like, we keep saying it's like bare and stripped down, and like, I don't necessarily want to say minimalistic, but I've said that several times, but it's stripped back. It's bare. It is such a perfect encapsulation of what it needed to be. Like, for this being like one of the first metal albums or whatever, like this is what that needed to be. You couldn't have gone to 100 right away. You know what I mean? Like, This could be some dumb like noise rock album thing that's just unbearable to listen to, and that created metal. But the fact that this is one of the catalysts for metal, it just makes so much sense, and I love that this exists and that it is what it is.
Yeah, it's fitting. It's like, yeah, because you said it could be just a noisy, crummy mess, but it's not, and it's good that it's like, I'm really happy that this is the reason. It's like the beginning of metal.
Yeah,
because it's like this holds up really well. Sounds great. Was more enjoyable than I expected.
Yep.
And yeah,
the only thing I would say that I'm a little surprised at is that there wasn't something a little bit faster. Now, I don't think that that's what they were necessarily aiming for, but I know that way before this, there was like blues musicians that were like crazy. And like we've all obviously like bluegrass and stuff is really fast, but that's not what they're aiming for. And that's where the sort of doom metal, sludge metal, stoner metal stuff, I think, comes in. But they're definitely going for a more slow plodding. And I think they were intentionally trying to be more menacing sounding. Especially with stuff like Iron Man and just the chord progressions they're using and things like that, or even Ozzy on War Pigs with the choice of that specific rhythm or melody on the vocals. Da 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 da. You know, that's
and it's
not a
interesting
happy
too, like the simplicity of this. Really, the idea of buying a guitar and then becoming famous in a metal band or a rock band, like. I could see this being the catalyst for that idea because this feels so attainable.
It does. And we don't mean that in a bad way, you know, because people could probably take that as be like, oh, these guys couldn't play any instrument ever. And what have you ever done and recorded that sounded better than this? Well,
right. And it's like,
maybe several things. But
my consideration is like, how good, like technically proficient were they really at the time that they wrote this? Because it sounds like it could be not very, and that's fine.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with being, I don't want to say accessible, but like attainable.
Yeah, it has a real attainable quality to it. Like the looseness of it, the simplicity of the riffs, the fact that they're all catchy. Like it, so often the most popular music of all time is super simplistic. Like that's one of the reasons that Beyonce has always got a billion plays on everything, because her music is always super simple in terms of like what it's made of and what is catchy about it. And it's, you know, you overcomplicate things and it becomes mud. Like it becomes mud sonically, it becomes mud in terms of like what you have to do to capture all of that is now wildly expensive and takes crazy experts in an outrageous amount of time. And it's just never going to hit the way that that simple stuff does. And this really just is like, I could pick up a guitar, give me a year or two to learn it. And if it weren't for the fact that people have been pumping out simple riffs like this for 50 years, I could probably make something that sounds really catchy and fun. And if I just recorded it, you know, it would be really wild to live in a world that's a hybrid of the simplicity of music at this time and the accessibility of recording now. Like, because as you know, there's probably a billion bands or people or guitarists or whatever over the years back then that had some awesome riffs, really great music that no one's ever heard of, because getting into a studio, recording it, getting to this point was so out of reach.
Yes, exactly.
And now you can record anything using an XLR and your phone or your laptop or whatever. And it will come out probably sounding better than a lot of the contemporaries of this album. But all of the really great, easy, simple, low-hanging fruit riffs have already been taken.
Yeah, I know.
And it's just such an interesting world. But like, definitely hearing this and thinking, I'm going to buy a guitar and go, you know, and it's one of the catchy songs of all time. It's just it's a fun snapshot.
I think you hit on it, something that's really important there, and that's the attainability of it. Like you just said, this is like the perfect, I'm going to be in a band. You know, a high school kid hears this, I'm going to be in a band. You know, and we haven't even talked about the lyrics or anything at all, you know, because obviously we're aware that like Black Sabbath was like banned and their records were burned and like people thought they were Satanist worshiping stuff. And maybe that came later. I'm not even sure. I don't even know that much about that aspect of this. I just know it happened. And the mere fact that they would call themselves Black Sabbath, which I think, you know, refers to a day that there really was a day called the Black Sabbath. Because,
or at least the Sabbath.
Well, no, the Sabbath for sure, but I think Black Sabbath was something that was referred to as I could be wrong, but I know there was, when they talk about black I know there's Black Thursday, the day that it had to do with in the 30s, or the 20s.
Black Friday, the Great Depression, when the stock market crashed in 29.
Well, Black Friday for sure, but also the
Black Tuesday?
No, the Dust Bowl. The Dust Bowl, because literally it blocked out the sun. So they called it Black whatever day of the week it was. And it might have been Black Sabbath, Black Sunday. But, and whatever, it doesn't matter. But I read a whole book about that called, it's a fantastic book, doesn't matter. But yeah, this, symbolistically and all that stuff, or, we didn't pay attention to that aspect of this. And Cody was talking about it, like a lot of references to Vietnam and stuff. So I could see how that could be controversial at the time as well. If people were feeling very patriotic, you wouldn't want that. But also this is after the 60s, which was just a crazy ass decade anyway in and of itself. So, there's all that. And it is also interesting for me personally thinking of this. I didn't know the Beatles called it quits in 1970. So like the year this came out was the year the Beatles quit. So like everything the Beatles did, they did before this came out, or whatever, or close to it. So it's like the music had already undergone the biggest change it would ever undergo, like a year or two before this. So this was riding that wave of just like, hey, anything is available to us now. We have a template of how to make music sound phenomenal. Let's do it. Do
you think that change in music was more impactful than digital?
I mean, I guess it depends what you're talking about, because even when they switched over to digital, they just found easier ways to do what happened when the Beatles changed music.
Yeah.
Like the Beatles, I don't know without
That's
the
fair.
Beatles if drums and bass would be in the middle and guitars on the right and left and vocals in the middle. Like, I don't know if the way we stereotypically think of a song sounding today would exist without them. And they did wacky crap with like stuff, and everything was mono before like 1965, and a lot of the Beatles' first few albums were all mono. And I'm not an expert on this because we've only done 2 of them, and both of the albums we listened to, which was Sgt. Pepper's, and then the album before that, which was Revolver, both of those albums were released in mono. Revolver in mono, and then later on in stereo. And Sgt. Pepper's was recorded with stereo in mind, but still released in mono, and then later released in stereo. So when we listen to the White Album, that'll be the first album the Beatles recorded intentionally in stereo to be released in stereo.
I think I've heard the White Album one time, and I think you're going to come. Some really interesting stuff's going to happen for you with that.
But it still goes beyond that, because it's not just that. It's the idea of using effects in certain ways. It's the idea of close miking things. Before the Beatles made some of their music, you recorded the orchestra, and then the pop singer came in and sang over that track. You know what I mean? The Temptations were all in a room singing together with the backing track already recorded. You know what I mean? Like, music was just done differently. It was still big band approach, where you have all the musicians, they play the music, then the pop singer sings over it. It was never like put a microphone on the bass, put a microphone on the hi-hat, put a microphone on everything. It just wasn't a possible for so long. And the Beatles and their producer, George Martin, were like, mic everything. And then that's where the magic happened. Clarity. And yeah. And
it seems so obvious now, to the point where it feels like it was inevitable, and they just happened to get there first. But that still is like, but you have to get there first,
right? And you have to think of the limitations of the time, because when the Beatles were doing it, was right when the limitations were going away, right? 45s weren't as popular; they were, but you could fit more on them, And then Cody and I just listened to a Yes album from 2 years after this, and there was an 18-minute song, an 8-minute song, and a 10-minute song. You know what I mean? So the 10-minute song was released as a single, and on a 45 parts, the first half of it was on one side, you flipped it over and heard the second half of the song. So it's like all bets were off after like 1968 or whatever. So it's like, this is only a few years after that. They're creating a new genre of music. And I do remember reading about Tony Iommi and down-tuning the guitar and like that having a big impact. It sounded so big at times, when they would hit the lowest note that they could, which I think is the Iron Man note, the dun, 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 dun. So it's like, I don't know. I just really great album. I'm very surprised. People in the comments wanted us to do the rest of these albums. They wanted us to do Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, the first Black Sabbath album, Black Sabbath, and then also they wanted us to do Master of Reality. And then
I'd be really curious to do the first album because of how this was only 4 months after that.
Yes.
And I would love to see what the difference is between.
yeah, I'll bet it sounds way worse than this. You know,
I bet it does sound noticeably worse because things were moving so fast. It's like when certain big technological changes come into play, things move so quickly that like you don't even realize it. Like a fact, I've probably brought this up 100 times before, but like a fact that will never leave my mind is that there are 4 years between Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X, and like that's unreal. Like the first time they did a 3D RPG on a new system, and then it was, you know, all the way up to FF10 on the PS2, and it's like things were moving so fast.
Yes.
And I feel like this was definitely the musical equivalent of that kind of thing at the time.
Cody and I keep saying when we do stuff like this, we're like, man, wouldn't it have been amazing to be around between like 1965 and 1975? Yeah. And then I just think about some of the stuff I know from later in the 70s. Like, I don't care for them as much, but like Fleetwood Mac and the Carpenters. I love Carpenters. I don't like Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah,
Carpenters. And then like ABBA totally changed the music industry with what they were doing in Sweden and then dance and disco music and stuff.
Oh, sure.
Super high fidelity. And that's when music became about low end and bass. And it was more about kick, drum, bass, snare, vocals. And that's what music still is today. You know, at this time, it wasn't necessarily thought of that way. They were still trying to figure out what to do, how to balance it.
And that was, when was that? In the 70s? Mid-70s?
That's like late 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's when digital stuff starts to come into play. And like albums, you know, I feel like you're not getting any low end out of stuff from back in the album days because you're not getting any low end on vinyl. Like it just doesn't have the capacity to carry that across. And then like nobody's got stereos that are reproducing low end, and it just doesn't exist.
Or you couldn't put as much low end in your music because everyone had those giant bass stereos that were just, you turn the bass up. You know what I mean? You couldn't, you'd blow out your bass system if you had too much bass on your record. So I don't know, but it's very interesting and it's fun and it's hard to think about, to put yourself in the shoes of people at the time. Like, you know, because Pink Floyd, when did Dark Side of the Moon come out?
I thought it was 68, but it turns out it's like 72, 75, something like that.
Right. So right around this same time, you know, so it's all the same thing. It's just experimentation. Yeah. It's all those things. It's just a lot, you know, and it's just like, what a fun thing. Like what a fun time to travel back to it would be.
Absolutely.
But all right, that can be the end of the video for everybody. If hopefully this video gets some good views, some good comments. Let us know what we got wrong for sure in the comments. Let us know if there's questions we asked or we were uncertain about something. Please let us know. I really am curious about the I Am Iron Man at the beginning of I Am Iron Man. If there's like a definitive answer for that, like how they created that warbled sound. Because it's very fascinating to me, and I think that's such an iconic thing, and you don't really hear anything else that sounds like that from the time. So very cool.
It sounds digital. That's the craziest thing about it. Is it
I agree, but
digital.
you and I know that when you time stretch something, it starts to sound. There's like a specific sound to it, and I do think.
But they didn't have time stretching. They just had speed changing.
Well, but you could do stuff with the tape. I think you could do. I mean, you're not going to stretch the tape, but like,
right?
You just play it at a slower speed, you know. But you're right, that wouldn't time stretch it. It would. But it's
not going to
slow it down.
Yeah, and it's not going to like. I think slowing it down would not make it sound more digital. I think it would definitely like.
Unless they found a way to like literally mess with the tape, like they.
Well, I looked up what a ring modulator did back in the 70s, like how it worked, and it was alternating like voltages and stuff. So I think that seems like it sounds exactly like a ring modulator would, like plug-in does now. And if they had them back then, I don't see why that wouldn't be at least 80% of the answer.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's the most logical thing I would say. I think it's hilarious that they said it was through a fan. That's hilarious to me. That's so funny. And that's badass of them to stick with that story all these years. But seriously, let us know in the comments whether or not if there's a definitive answer for that, because I'm sure someone's recreated it and figured it out. But let us know then which album of these we should do next. list. And I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, but we do have a Discord where you can come and join us. If you're new to the channel, we've got lots of Metallica. We've got Beatles, like we said. We've got more classic albums like this, but we also do a lot of new albums as well. There's a lot of great new stuff coming out over the next couple months that we're very excited for. And we'll get to it all eventually. But we enjoy doing this kind of stuff. I'm really hoping we can use the music and keep going. If the music if the video gets blocked because of the copyrights for this, we probably won't do any more Black Sabbath.
That would be wild.
I know. I hope it doesn't happen, but you never know. Especially with all the people making videos about Ozzy now. You know, I would think that they're not that they would change it for that, but I would think that there's a lot of people using Ozzy's music and stuff. So we'll see. But thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you next time.